righty, here we go. Bicoastal Baseball Podcast on the Grid Network. I am Mike Guido. That is Dalton Brown. It is great to have you in for another positive evening. Let's pretend like we're going to be positive today. Nothing but good vibes only on the Bicoastal Baseball Podcast. But yes, we have plenty of stuff to go over today. Dalton, how are we feeling, my friend? I know I could be better, and hopefully you're doing better than me.
Yeah, I mean, from a Dodger fan perspective, certainly frustrated, grateful that they're at least in the position that they're in because, yeah, we'll get to it. But look, we got college football for real this week, which is really exciting. Baseball coming down the home stretch, NFL in about 10 days. So whole lot going on to be excited about.
It certainly is. Listen, man, we've got plenty of stuff to go over today. September is right around the corner. It is getting down to it. So we have plenty of stuff to talk about. We're just going to rank right now our top 5 World Series contenders right before September. Just see where we're at with that. And I almost like, as I was kind of making it, I don't want to spoil anything, but let's just say the American League does not give me a whole lot of confidence. Let me just throw that out there. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. We got to talk about where the Dodgers and the Padres are right now in the NL West, tied as of right now in that division. That is going to be a hell of a race heading to the end. That's going to be a very, very fun thing to watch throughout the rest of the year. Obviously, Yankees, Red Sox, this weekend, that was quite the let's not do this now. We'll talk about it. Plus, we got Hot Corner a little bit later. But listen, as we do every single week, we cater to our own fan bases. Sorry, but not sorry. Hate to break it to you. But Yankees, Dodgers, Dalton, you're the defending champs. You get to go first.
Yeah. Look, as far as it goes for the Dodgers, what happened last week is just not good enough. Like, I get it. Going to San Diego losing 2 out of 3 is the part of the week that actually bothers me least. The bats just didn't show up on Friday or on Saturday. Both of those games, oddly enough, it was just Alex Freeland hitting a home run and nothing else. But the big problem I have is going to Colorado and losing 2 out of 4, one of which is a game that you just blew from a bullpen perspective. And like the reality is when your offense goes to Colorado, you just have to be able to score more runs than that. Like, it's just not, I mean, going in there and scoring 3 runs and 3 runs in 2 of the games, like that's just not ever going to be good enough. Especially when you consider the pitchers that they're facing. And like, I get it. Baseball is baseball and baseball is baseball. But when you run up against Tanner Gordon, who comes into the game with an ERA hovering around 9, and he comes out and basically shuts you down for 6 innings and 1 run allowed, it's just not okay. Like, right. You have to be able to hit a guy like that. And part of the problem, we saw it both during the weekend, over the weekend, it's an at-bat quality thing. And this is the kind of stuff that in the last few years is why I was calling for Dave Roberts' head so often, is because I don't think the Dodgers are a team that does a good enough job of valuing at-bats. And I don't think that they're a team that matches the energy that at moments require a lot of times. This weekend was a perfect example where you end up with multiple situations with bases loaded and you're just not putting the ball in play. And that's just not okay. Like, you have to be able to put the ball in play in those situations. You can't be striking out on fastballs down the middle. It's just not okay. It reminds me of 2021 in the playoffs when we were striking out on Tyler Matchik fastballs right down the middle with a chance to knock off the eventual champion Braves. So, yeah, I mean, it's an unacceptable week from the Dodgers. Just not good enough. And this whole season's been that way for them. You're sitting at 74 and 57. That's a record unbecoming of what you are talent-wise, and something that is really shameful for what the Dodgers are talent-wise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, they better figure it out, because now that you just played your 4 in Colorado, the Padres have an easier schedule than you do the rest of the way, and they're not going anywhere. So, I mean, 74 and 57 means you've got, 31 games left? You better be ready to win like 22 or 23 of them if you want to feel good about winning this thing.
Well, and they certainly can, right? I mean, they're lined up with a schedule that is that what we were saying, that they were kind of lining up with a schedule that, I mean, I don't want to say like it's super duper easy or anything like that, but
the schedule lines up remarkably well for them, but they just haven't given me any reason to believe that they're going to take advantage of that with some big streak.
Mm-hmm.
They just really haven't done that since April when they started the season like 8-0. So, I mean, like you think about that, Mike. They started the season 8-0. Since then, they're 7 games over 500.
Yeah.
I mean, so do I think something can change and they can turn it on and beat the hell out of the Reds? Yeah, I think it can happen. But do I honestly believe that it will? I'm starting to worry that this is going to be a team that ends up in a wild card series.
It is certainly possible that that's the case. I mean, I think, there's a lot of road left. You still have about a little over a month. But yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I mean, this is a team that I think, when you look at it from the grand scheme of things, they have performed below their expectations. Now, I think when the big moments hit, I think, and this is just me, I think we're going to see what this team is actually about. Like that's when you're actually going to see like, okay, that's what we all thought going into the year. But yeah, I mean, we were having conversations, Dalton, about this team breaking the record of most wins in a regular season. That's obviously not going to happen now, but I still think they're a very good baseball team that has to work out a few kinks. They have to find a way to get right. I think when it comes down to, again, I just have so much confidence in a postseason set with them. Like nobody's going to be able to outpitch them. I have so much belief in that. So, and they have time to right the ship. So, I still feel pretty confident in that. They are still, regardless, one of the best offensive teams in baseball right now, right? I mean, they're in the top 5 in virtually every single offensive category. Like, I still feel pretty bullish about how good this team is. But yeah, I mean, it's always kind of scary when you're, hitting a lull in this part of the season. Believe me, I get that, dude.
It's been a 2-month-long lull at this point. Like they're under 500 since July 1st. It's just, I mean, at some point, this is just kind of who you've been for most of the season, and it's just not like that World Series win last year is the only reason why I'm not screaming for Dave Roberts' head, because this team's just not ready to execute night in, night out. Like they're facing pitchers that are not good, that are just shutting them down. Like Nestor Cortez took a perfect game into the 6th inning the other day, Mike.
Yeah, right.
Like that's just not okay. To me, that when Tanner Gordon's doing that to you and Nestor Cortez is doing that to you and Yu Darvish and his current form is doing that to you, that comes down to just you're not prepared. Like there's no way that you're preparing right and that's happening.
Yeah. Yep. No, I totally get it, dude. I totally get it. And the reason I totally get that is because so we talked about it at length last week, Dalton, about how important this 4-game set was for the Yankees against the Red Sox in the Bronx, and they lose 3 out of 4. I am of the mindset that the Yankees got swept in this series. They got swept. Like, if you lose 3 out of 4, especially in that fashion, you got swept. You salvaged the last game. Congratulations. You still got embarrassed in your own building. I am just like, I'm just blown away at like, wow, like how crazy it is. The discrepancy between, they're like the Dallas Cowboys of Major League Baseball. They really are. Because, no, think about it. They demolish bad baseball teams. Like, that is the thing the Yankees do better than anybody in baseball. They take advantage of bad baseball teams. But then when it comes to teams that are at or above their level, they cannot even compare. Like, I don't understand that. The Yankees did not face, I mean, outside of Garrett Crochet, which, by the way, they lost that game 12-1. They faced Lucas Giolito and Brian Bayo and got shut out. Like, they got absolutely torched by two very okay right-handed pitchers. Like, what? I don't understand that. Okay, congratulations. You beat up on Dustin May a little bit. Dustin May blows. Like, that's not something that you can brag about. So I don't understand, like, what this whole I've been saying it forever, and I've been saying it since I can say it till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
This is just not the same team. It's just not the same way of doing things. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just like everything feels different. The energy feels different. The urgency feels different. This doesn't, like, there is no, like, within the organization itself, within the clubhouse, within something, like, there just doesn't seem to be the Joe Torre, no way, no how, win at all costs sort of deal. It just doesn't feel that way. It's very mediocrity is acceptable. I mean, take Anthony Volpe, for example. I mean, it's about damn time they benched that kid. I mean, for the love of God, that guy for 3 months has had an OPS of under 400. Like, he's so bad. He's so bad. We're talking, like, one of the things that was keeping Anthony Volpe in the lineup, despite the fact that he strikes out 2/3 of his at-bats, was that he was an excellent defender at shortstop. For the last 2.5 months, he's been terrible. He leads the major league in errors. Like, and you just tolerated it until yesterday when you started Jose Caballero at short. Like, that's what we looked at. Like, that's how we do things now. I just don't, it really blows my mind. You really had an opportunity here to, like, make a statement, right? You just came off a series sweep in St. Louis, and the Cardinals aren't good, but you just swept St. Louis. You just took the 2-game series against the Rays. Like, you could have taken this 4-game set against the Red Sox and proven that was the time you turned the corner, right? Even though they were bad teams, you whooped them. But then you come into your own building and get pooped on. Nathaniel Lowe's been a Red Sox for 2 minutes, and he crapped on you. Like, it is, like, the game on Thursday, they beat themselves. What, they have 9 walks in that game? 11 walks? Like, the Yankees had 11 walks and 4 errors. 3 in 1 inning. Like, this isn't the same thing. It's just not.
I mean, you hate to say it, but it sounds familiar, right? It's the part of it that's most frustrating for the Yankees is these are the same things that kept you from winning a World Series last year.
100%.
And, you would think that, these are relative controllables. And so it's reasonable to expect that an off season would be an opportunity to hone in on those things so intensely that they simply can't be an issue the following year. And so the fact that it's, if anything, gotten worse is pretty disheartening for the Yankees and pretty frustrating for them.
I don't know. Here's my primary issue. I don't know what the fix is. I really don't. Like, I would like to say that the issue is energy in the clubhouse has to change. Aaron Boone has to go. And that's that, right? Like, maybe you make a couple of personnel change, whatever. I don't know that that's it, Dalton. I don't. Like, do I think Aaron Boone's a great manager? No, I don't. But do I think he's terrible and the sole reason why we lose? No, I don't. I don't think that that's reasonable to think. I think this goes way deeper than, and we've talked about this ad nauseum. Like, I think it goes way deeper beyond Aaron Boone. I think it's beyond Brian Cashman. I think it's beyond anything of that. It goes down to the absolute root of this thing where they scout players, develop players. Like, it goes down to that. When the Yankees lose, it is an embarrassing fashion. Like, we were the Rockies for 2 months. Like, how do you explain that? Seriously, like, the only thing that made the Yankees, funny enough, being that terrible, even a little bit bearable, was because the Mets were just as bad. So they couldn't talk shit about it. But now, like, listen, man, I talked about it last week. Oh, I think I still have faith. I do. Like, I think I still have, like, I think they can turn it around. I don't know that I feel that way anymore. I really, like, this series, I'm calling it a sweep. I'm calling it, like, if this series was any indication, like, it just felt like a dagger. Like, there was a way you could have proven that you belonged. There was a way you could have proven that, like you could have turned a corner. I mean, this is just, but instead you just came out like a dog and just got pooped. Like, I don't know how else to, I don't know. I'm just,
I mean, I do enjoy the imagery of, like, Roman Anthony pulling down his pants and just taking a dump on home plate at Yankee Stadium.
But that's what it felt like.
I mean, but you're right. I mean, like, that, you know, you lose the first 2 games.
Kid. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that you lose the first 2 games and then game 3 goes 12-1, like, it's a punch in the mouth. So, yeah, man. I mean, I don't have a ton of silver lining for you on it, right? Because I think, you know, you and I talked last week about, hey, if somebody's going to catch up in the wild card, you know, we talked about how we thought it'd be the Red Sox they were going to catch. I don't know, man. I don't know about that anymore.
I don't know that it's not the Yankees. Like, I am not, you know, I still kind of think that the Yankees are good enough to make the playoffs, but, like, how long is that leash going to go?
I mean,
they're 3.5 games into a wild card spot right now.
Yeah, and, like, to put it in some perspective, Fangraphs gives them a 95.7% chance to make the playoffs. Like, I expect them to make the playoffs, but, like, with how things have gone for them, I wouldn't be, like, floored beyond belief if the bottom fell out and they missed the playoffs. Now, Mike, if the bottom falls out and they miss the playoffs, I'm calling for Aaron Boone's head, whether you are or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing. And that's, I think every Yankee fan would. Yeah. I don't know the Yankees would, because they just extended him this past year. You know, I mean, crazier things have happened, but, you know, I don't know, man. I just, even if they do make the playoffs, I have zero confidence. Right now, if the playoffs started today, they'd play Boston in Boston, and I think Boston would crap on them. Yeah. The Yankees are 1-8 against the Red Sox this year. I've had it.
I mean, there comes a time where it feels like one team just kind of has the hand up on the other in terms of just aura and vibes and everything. And it feels like in that matchup right now, the Yankees are the team tensing up and Boston's the team having fun at their expense.
Yep. 100%. Oh, boy. What a hat, Dalton, by the way.
Yeah, look, the Army one, I like it, but my head's pretty big and it was kind of squeezing my head a little bit. I had to change it up. So
your head's not kind of big.
Well,
it's really big. And the only reason I could say that is because my head's around just as big as yours.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, John. I know you like the hat, but it had to go.
Fact, Rockies elite. Myth, Rockies eliminated from the playoffs. That is true, by the way. The Rockies are now mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, RIP.
Yeah, listen, man. It was a great run, John. It really was. It was a great run. But that needs to end now. All right, so let's give you a score update here real quick. The Yankees right now with a 2-0 lead over the Nationals. That's in the Bronx. They're in the top of the 5th. Ben Rice hit an absolute moonshot in that game. Let me say that Ben Rice has been a bright spot. I think that kid has a future. I do. I think that kid has a future. Yeah. I think Schlittler has a future. Like, there's some guys there that I like. You know, this guy Aaron Judge, I think he might have a future too. I kind of like that kid. Um, top of the 7th, Red Sox with a 4-3 lead over the Orioles in Baltimore. Marlins right now with a 1-0 lead over the Braves. That's in Miami. They're in the bottom of the 7th. The Blue Jays, do the Blue Jays ever lose anymore? The Blue Jays are with a 6-1 lead over the Twins right now in Toronto. They're in the bottom of the 4th. They're beating up on the Twins right now.
And they're beating up on Joe Ryan in that game too.
Are they ever going to lose ever again? Or because we thought, I mean, Dalton, we had that conversation a couple of weeks ago where we thought the Blue Jays have the makings of a team that's eventually going to cool off and come back down to earth. They're not cooling off.
No.
They might just be legitimately good.
At this point, Fangraphs is giving them an 81% chance to win the division, which, by the way, the Yankees still being given 13% to win that division is pretty wild, given like where we are in the season. But I mean, at this point, like the Blue Jays have shut us up for the most part. So, I give them credit. Look, I mean, I'm going to talk about this once we start getting into our top fives. Part of it for the Blue Jays, they have been exceptional in one-run games and in extra innings. Those are not things that those are things that I typically view as not the most predictive. They've also gone 27-15 in interleague games. That's also less predictive when it comes to like, can you beat the teams in front of you in the playoffs to try to get to the World Series? So I have my doubts with the Blue Jays, but they've done it so far.
Yeah, certainly. The Phillies right now with a 3-0 lead over the Mets. That's in Queens right now. Bottom of the 4th, the Phillies with a 3-0 lead. The White Sox with a 3-0 lead over the Kansas City Royals. That is in Chicago. That's in the bottom of the 3rd. Diamondbacks and Brewers are still scoreless in the bottom of the 3rd. The Pirates right now with a 1-0 lead over the Cardinals. That's in St. Louis. They're in the bottom of the 2nd. Angels with a 1-0 lead after 1 against the Rangers in Texas. Right now, the Rays with a 5-0 lead against the Guardians. They're in a delay right now in the 6th inning, it looks like. And then we got some more games tonight. The Padres and Mariners. That's in Seattle. J.P. Sears and Bryce Miller on the bump for that one. The Tigers and Athletics. That's in Sacramento. Tarek Skubal on the bump tonight against J.T. Ginn. And then the Reds and Dodgers. Emmett Sheehan and Hunter Green. That's in Los Angeles. That's maybe a turn the corner game. Maybe Emmett Sheehan's been pretty good.
I mean, he's been decent, but that's a tough pitching matchup against Hunter Green. And I mean, look, at least I don't know. It's at least you're back home, but yeah, man, I have concerns with how we're playing right now in general. Yeah. I'm not confident against really anybody. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I know the feeling, man. I really do. We're both sitting here, and like, I don't want to put the Dodgers in the same conversation as the Yankees because I really think that would be disrespectful to you guys. Like, that really is, something that shouldn't be discussed in that manner. Okay, speaking of the Dodgers, though, let's talk about that division race, right? So we talked about it a little bit before, but let's really kind of dive into this. So the Dodgers and Padres right now, they're both 74-57. They're tied for the NL West division lead. Right now, the Dodgers have the playoff spot. Or I shouldn't say the playoff spot, but they have the division right now based on tiebreaker. But listen, this next month and plus, is going to be very, very telling, right? Because the Dodgers have a pretty favorable schedule. I mean, it's going to be an interesting race to go see. So what do you see right now as far as the state of that race, right? We just saw it not this weekend, but the weekend prior, where the Dodgers swept San Diego, and then now they come back. They lose 2 out of 3 to San Diego this weekend. So that just kind of seems like there's a lot of back and forth in this race. How do you kind of see this playing out?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest, man. Like, at this point, it's probably a 50-50. Mm-hmm. And I say that despite the fact that I think the Dodgers still have the better roster. Like, if the Dodgers play to their ability, they should win the division. But by splitting those 4 games in Colorado, San Diego now actually has a decided advantage schedule-wise. They still have 7 left with Colorado. The Dodgers only have 3. So that was a big deal. I think San Diego has the scheduling edge now. I don't think the talent gap between them is very large. And a lot of it, too, is just the Dodgers are not playing great baseball, and they haven't played great baseball for months. Like it feels like over any 10-game stretch, the best you can get out of them is 6-4 lately. Like they're just not putting together any streaks of wins. And over these last 31 games, if you come out and you go 17-14, it's not going to do it. Like it's not. You're going to be second in the division. And Mike, there's also a part of me that at this point, you're not just looking at the Padres, you need to be looking at the Phillies and Brewers also. Because if you finish as the third highest division champion, guess what? You're still playing a wild card series. And so I don't know, man. I mean, at this point, it feels more likely than not that the Dodgers are going to have to do that. And so you got the Cubs right there at 76-55 too. So if you don't win the division, you're probably going on the road for a wild card series. That's the reality. And so it's a really big deal. And it starts right now. I mean, the Dodgers, you're hosting Cincinnati, and the Cubs the Padres are in Seattle, right? So you need Seattle to do a little bit of work, and you need to have a winning week when you're hosting Cincinnati and Arizona. Because after the Padres leave Seattle, they come here to Minnesota. I'll be there Saturday to cheer against them. And then they come home and play Baltimore, and then they go to Colorado. So like I'll put it this way: these next 3 games, if you lose 2 out of 3 to Cincinnati and San Diego picks up a game or 2 of ground on you, San Diego is going Minnesota, Baltimore, Colorado after that. You're in trouble. Like if they don't pick it up right now, they might be looking at a 4 or 5 game deficit in this division 2 weeks from now. Yeah. And then you're pretty fucked.
Yeah. No, that's wild to say, right? It's wild.
But it's the reality. And like if that happens, you're not only not winning the division, you're going on the road to play a wild card series probably at Wrigley Field. That's not going to be fun.
I know, isn't it? That's nuts. That's crazy. Because now you got to keep the Cubs in mind too, right? Because they have a better record than the Dodgers right now. So
yeah,
I mean, it's interesting the way that this all plays out. The good news is I will say this. Cincinnati's a solid team, but I think, they're just coming off a 3-game set with Arizona where they just lost 2 out of 3, right? And now in Arizona's case, they have 4 games in Milwaukee before they play you. So they have 4 in Milwaukee before they go to Dodger Stadium to play the Dodgers.
Yeah,
I mean, this is going to be a brutal week for the Diamondbacks. Really bad.
I mean, that's a tough scheduling week for them. Thankfully, I mean, for them, it doesn't really matter at this point. But going on the road to Milwaukee for 4, no day off, going and playing at LA. Sometimes the road trips that these teams out west get sent on are just criminal. I mean, like the Dodgers had one earlier this year where they went, I think it was somewhere in the Northeast. I think it was at Philly, and then it was at Miami, and then it was at Arizona. It was just ridiculous. But I mean, look, the Dodgers don't have any excuses, man. Like they're healthy, the pitching's healthy. You're missing Muncy and Kike, and the bats aren't super healthy, but like, man, you have enough. Like there's enough there that you shouldn't be losing these games. Like this series against Cincinnati is one that like you have no reason to lose this series. Like,
oh yeah.
No reason to lose this.
What are the pitching matchups in that series? So it's Hunter Green, Emmett Sheehan, Nick Martinez, and Clayton Kershaw. And then it is Zach Littell and Shohei Ohtani. So,
I mean, here's the problem. We just got shut down by Tanner Gordon, Yu Darvish, Nestor Cortez. So, like, I mean, should I be confident that we can at least scratch a couple across against Littell? Yeah. Should I be confident that we can hit Nick Martinez? In theory, but this is kind of what the Dodgers are this year. Like Nick Martinez faced the Dodgers earlier this year and threw 6 strong innings, 6 innings, 2 runs against us in late July.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating. Like that's who we are right now.
Dude, I'm telling you, I feel that. I do. Yeah. I really do. If there's anybody else in baseball that feels pain, it's me. I get it, dude. I really do. Listen, I always say it because I just think the Dodgers are so stacked from a talent perspective. but you're right. The problem is for them is that if those guys don't perform, they have nothing to lean on, right? So it's more of just, first of all, can they like here's the thing. If they end up in a wild card series in Chicago, I still think the Dodgers are in decent shape. Like
I mean, they'll be favored, but that's not decent at all.
Well, no, I don't want to call it like it's not, like it isn't something that blows after having the division, but I don't know, man. Like I just think the talent's going to prevail here. I just do. Like, and listen, I don't watch the Dodgers every day. You do. Like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obviously not as, I guess, well versed on their struggles as you are. But I just look at what this team has, and I'm like, listen, if they can get through 5 innings with a lead, like I think they're going to be all right. Like I just do.
You have not watched enough of this bullpen this year.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, listen, dude, I understand. I get the bullpen struggles. I really do. I do get the ball, and that's the thing that I think could kill them, is if their bullpen can't consistently get outs, that's what's going to kill them. But I think they're going to hit in the postseason. Like I think that when push comes to shove and we get closer to the playoffs, they're going to hit the cover off the baseball. I do.
We'll see. I hope so.
Well, that's kind of the game we're playing now, isn't it? Though, like we are kind of playing the we'll see game.
Look, I mean, this is a conversation I've had with Dodger fan friends all year, right? Is like, don't panic. It's just a matter of how we're hitting in October. But there's nothing happening right now that makes me feel good.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, dude, I get that too.
Let's go through our contenders, because I'm interested to hear what order we have these teams in.
Yeah,
each side, because you might be surprised by some of the choices I'm making here.
Okay. All right. Well, you go first. Do you want to go 5-1 or 1-5?
I'll go 5-1. I'm going to start in the AL. Let's each do our AL first, and then we'll go to NL. AL number 5. Now I want to be clear about my methodology here. This is based on, like, we're in the playoffs, how likely I think these teams are to win the World Series based on where my vibes are at now with them.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Number 5, New York Yankees.
Yeah. Okay.
I just, like, the performances against the other contenders are just not inspiring a lot of excitement for me right now with them. They feel like a team that just does not have their swagger. They're facing the same issues as last year. I just have a feeling as the pressure mounts, I'm not as confident that they're going to react all that well to it, especially without Garrett Cole around to save them. So yeah. I have the Yankees at number 5. I have the Red Sox at number 4. They've moved up recently on this list for me. But at the end of the day, I think pitching rotation wise, there are other teams better equipped in the postseason than they are. At number 3, I have the Tigers. There's a part of me that wanted to put the Tigers at number 1 because they've been relatively consistent. They've pulled back away now in their division. And at the end of the day, being able to put Tarek Skubal out there in any given night is huge. The other thing with the Tigers is 20-8 in one-run games. That's ultimately the reason I bumped them back a little bit here. I think they've been a tad fortunate so far this season in some of their closer games, and I don't think they did enough at the deadline necessarily to bolster it.
Right.
My number 1 and number 2 are a contingency. As of right now, my number 1 is the Astros and my number 2 is the Mariners. But the team that wins that division is going to be the team that I put at number 1 in the American League. I finally have bought in on the Mariners. Like, the fact that they are now a good offensive team to pair with the starting pitching that they can throw at you in a series, I think makes them formidable in a very real way. And when it comes to the Astros, you're just not going to get me to go against the pedigree of guys in that clubhouse and the winning that they've done in the postseason. When they make it to a postseason, they tend to be automatic to the ALCS.
Yep.
And a team that I feel that way about, it's going to be really tough for me to not put them at number 1 if they win the AL West. That's my AL list. What do you think of it, and what do you got?
So it is. I mean, it is a little different. We differ in a big way, because I think I find myself a little bit more impressed with one team than you are.
The Blue Jays?
The Blue Jays.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays. Like, I think so. I'll run through my list quick, and you gave a lot of reasons, so I'll run through mine a little bit quicker. Number 5 for me is the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox are, at least from what I saw from them this weekend, there's a bit of like a grittiness to them that I like. I think this like influx of youth could be like a big boost to them. You know, Josh Nixon Garcia or what
Password.
Yeah, right. Roman Anthony, guys like I think that there's some legitimacy there. They seemingly have found a way to get Aroldis Chapman back to his former glory, which is beyond me to any stretch of the imagination. Garrett Crochet is an ace. He's one of the best pitchers of baseball. I feel good about that. So I think the Red Sox, have a legit case here. Number 4 for me is the Mariners. I think the Mariners have the rotation to kill you. I'm not confident in the lineup, right? Like, I think their offense has the names to get it done, but the production says otherwise, right? Like, I'm still waiting for Julio Rodriguez to find himself again, right? Like Randy Arozarena, same sort of deal. Like, outside of Cal Raleigh, nobody has really, blown the doors off in their offense. So that's the part that concerns me. But I think in the American League alone, nobody can outpitch them. Like, they will shut people down with their rotation. So I have the Mariners at 4. I have the Tigers at 3. Out of respect for what they were early on in the year, I think the Blue Jays, I think the Tigers are, they are a really good collection of talent that can catch fire at the right time. But I think youth could be their downfall, where I think in Boston it could be their strength. I think their youth and their inexperience, I think the fact that they've had a couple pitching injuries this year, I think could hurt them as well. Their rotation isn't as deep as it was to begin the year. And Tarek Skubal has pitched in the postseason before and was not great. So I think listen, I get it. I'm picking at straws here, but I still have Tigers number 3. I still think that they could, catch fire in a bottle and roll. The Blue Jays to me are 2. I guess the reason I'm saying that is because I don't know. I kind of bought into the idea that they were eventually going to crash and burn, but they don't crash and burn. All they do is hit. Like, all the Blue Jays do is hit. Like, it's unbelievable. Really, like, how are they getting legitimately quality, good at bats out of Ernie Clement every day? I don't understand how that's possible. Ernie Clement sucks, but I guess not. Like, I don't know. Like, that's kind of how I feel about this whole thing. Is I don't have faith in their roster at all, but they keep winning. So, who am I to argue against that? I don't know. I think they've got enough veteran pitching in their rotation. A lot of guys that have been there before. I think that's a roster that can get hot again, can kind of just ride the wave and keep it going. I think the Blue Jays are 2, and I agree with you wholeheartedly on the Astros. I really didn't think that, at the beginning of this year, I didn't think the Astros were that good. Like, I thought we were going to see legitimate regression from the Astros. Like, dynasty over, and I think we're kind of past the whole dynasty thing now, but I mean, Jose Altuve still rakes. You know what I mean? Like, they still have, I think, honestly, them bringing back Carlos Correa was such a big deal for that clubhouse. Like, such a huge deal. Yeah. Especially in late year, postseason level baseball. Carlos Correa is going to mean a lot to that baseball team. So I just think as far as, and they have the pitching to get it done. Talk about guys that are, first of all, that aren't super old, but guys that have been there before too. Like, how many playoff games has Framber been in? Like, it just feels like he's been in a million. So
Christian Javier's back now.
That's what I'm saying. Right. It just seems like they've all and they've all had success in those big moments. So yeah, I would go Astros, Blue Jays, Tigers, Mariners, Red Sox, and I left the Yankees off the list.
Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised because I was very ready to be like, look at you going on your whole Yankee rant and putting them at 2 or putting them
No,
at 1.
no,
Um,
no.
so
I texted you this weekend, Dalton, and I'm a drama queen when it comes to this stuff. I really am. I'm an emotional. I am Frank the Tank Light, but like I'm out, dude. Like I think I'm out. Like this weekend put the nail in the coffin for me.
yeah, it
I'm
was
just out.
ugly. It was ugly. All
So
right,
all
here's
right,
what I got in the
nationally.
NL. Here's what I got in the NL. At number 5, I am putting the Chicago Cubs. Look, I like a lot of what the Cubs are and can be, but the pitching is a major concern. Kyle Tucker not quite looking like Kyle Tucker for quite a long time is a concern. I just think there's something missing here in terms of them being a legitimate World Series contender. I think they're a step away from that. I think the Justin Steele injuries, I think the pitching injuries are a problem. So I'm concerned about the Cubs.
Yeah.
Now, look, they have an electric lineup in terms of talent. I think there's a world where they get hot and are a problem, which, to be honest, can be said about any of these teams in the National League. I think this National League field is in general a lot stronger and more intimidating than the American League field. So number 5, I'm putting the Cubs. Number 4, I'm putting the Milwaukee Brewers, which there's certainly an argument to have them higher. They have the best record in baseball. They've been the best team in baseball for a good while now. They've been unbelievable. I am intimidated by their pitching in a short series, but I have concerns over that lineup's ability to produce when you get into the postseason and offense starts to shrivel. Like you have to have a little bit more pop in a lineup, I think, than they have when it comes to the postseason. So I've got Milwaukee at number 4. Again, any of these teams could very quickly prove me wrong in either direction. Number 3, I'm putting the Phillies. I would have had the Phillies in my top 2, but the Zach Wheeler injury is a really big deal. It's a really big deal. That rotation is still strong. You're still putting Christopher Sanchez out there and Ranger Suarez out there, but you're going to need somebody of the Luzardo, Nola, and Taijuan Walker ilk to start a game for you, and then you're going to have to piece it together in a 4th game. I think their starting pitching being less intimidating by a significant margin without Wheeler knocks them down the list just a tad for me. So that's where I have Philly. Number 2, I'm putting the Dodgers. Look, for all of my frustrations with this team, I can't put them any lower than this. The lineup is still too formidable. The pitching rotation could be otherworldly if it comes together. And I think there's a world in which the bullpen is good enough, especially as guys like Emmett Sheehan and potentially Shohei Ohtani get moved into it. So there is a pathway I can see to the Dodgers pitching staff being elite in the playoffs. If Muncy is healthy and Kike is healthy, the offense is going to look just as good as it did last year. So it's hard for me to not have a decent amount of faith in them come postseason. That being said, right now, number 1 in the NL for me is the Padres. And I know that the standings don't put them there, but I think this Padres team has a big chip on its shoulder. Ryan O'Hearn and Ramon Laureano are both hitting unbelievably well since coming over to the Padres and have really lengthened that lineup. I think they're expecting innings from Michael King in the postseason, which would make a massive difference for them. I think the obvious concern for San Diego is their starting pitching, right? Can Nick Pivetta be as good in the playoffs as he's been in the regular season? Can you get good innings out of Nestor Cortez and Yu Darvish and Dylan Cease with how he's looked in the postseason? Those are very fair question marks. But this bullpen only requires a starting staff to go 4 innings. They're that deep in the bullpen. There are 6, 7, even 8 guys that are at least somewhat reliable in that pen. If they're hitting remotely well, they're going to be a really tough out. So as of right now, they're my number 1 in the NL as far as World Series contenders, especially if they find a way to win that division and get home series. It's going to be a problem.
Yep. So we are remarkably close. We are remarkably close. Same 3 through 5. So I do have the Cubs at 5. All the reasons that you mentioned as well. They've dealt with some injuries. Kyle Tucker kind of being mediocre for, like, he got off to a roaring start this year. And ever since then, he's been a average to below average player. He really has been. And that's a bit shocking of a player of that caliber. And that's the main reason why I have them at 5 and not higher. Just because I just don't think, in comparison to some of these other teams, I still think the Cubs are good, but just especially with Kyle Tucker not playing the way that he's, used to playing, I think I can't put them any higher than that. I have the Brewers at 4. I think the Brewers are the National League version of the Mariners. Like, that was my thought process, is that they're going to pitch like crazy. They are. Like, that rotation's nasty. They are going to get outs. But they offensively, despite what they've done, from a numbers perspective, right? Because they're among the top in a lot of offensive categories. I don't see enough pop in their lineup, like you said. I just don't see it. They have a lot of guys that put the ball in play. They have a lot of guys that, can drive in runs in a non-slug sort of way. But I think they're going to have to get by their pitching. And I think the lineups in the National League are just too strong for theirs to not be of that same level. Same thing with the Phillies, right? I shouldn't say same thing with the Phillies, but same thing that you said about the Phillies was I had the Phillies automatically in the number 2 spot, not even just in the National League, just in the league in general. If the team I have at number 1 isn't going to win the World Series, I had the Phillies until Zach Wheeler got hurt. That was a massive loss for that team. Absolutely massive. Out for the year. That's their ace. They're going to have to throw Christopher Sanchez in a game 1. And I think in the National League, that's just not going to cut it. I just don't know that it will. I still think the Phillies, by the way, are almost as equipped as any other team in baseball to handle a postseason atmosphere, right? I think they can, they own postseason baseball, just being in Philadelphia, what their fans provide them, their roster, their lineup in particular, perfectly embodies that city and that environment, right? Schwarber and Harper and Castellanos, they're all a bunch of, and I mean this in the most loving way possible, they are all a bunch of Philly douchebags that just kind of, they just absorb it and they're in it, right? Yeah. I don't mean they're actually douchebags, but they are a bunch of Philly douchebags that embrace that. This is the part where we differ. I have the Padres at 2 and the Dodgers at 1. And the separating factor for me is, we talked about it last week, right? Where I think the world of the Dodgers, despite the fact that they've had some struggles over the past couple of months. I do think that the Dodgers are a better baseball team altogether. I also think that as close as I think these two teams are, if I need somebody to get a big hit or I need somebody to hit a big homer, I think the Dodgers are the team that I believe in to do that more than the Padres are. Okay. The Padres, the one thing that will kill them, they will pitch, they will be fine, they will get outs with their bullpen, they will do all of those things. They don't take advantage of run-producing opportunities. That is the thing that will kill them, okay? And especially in a series, if they have to face Milwaukee or they have to face the Dodgers, who have a ridiculously deep pitching staff, like, they're going to be needing to, and I'm sure it's gotten better since the trade deadline, right? But especially if they need a big homer, if they need something big in an inning, I just don't know that the Padres can do that at the same level the Dodgers can, right? Shohei Ohtani and Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has not been Mookie Betts this year.
Well,
but in the postseason,
but he has been all of a sudden for the last couple of weeks. Something's right. He's hitting like 348 the last 3 weeks.
Well, again, and there you go. That even builds more to the case of, like, it all kind of boils away in the postseason I just have more faith in the Dodgers roster. I have more faith in what the components of their roster are made of. So I would say Dodgers, Padres, Phillies, Brewers, Cubs.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's part of me that feels like a hack and a hot take artist by putting the Padres ahead of them. Um, it's the only thing that like I try not to be this person, but it's kind of just based on vibes right now. Like the Dodgers just feel sluggish. They feel like a World Series hungover team to me. And they feel like a team that is going to roll over in a series. That's my concern. In terms of talent and ability, if they're playing well, they're the best team in baseball. Like, period. And look, if you look at how Fangraphs sets up the World Series percentages, I mean, they put the Dodgers at 16.6%. The only other team above 10% is the Phillies at 10.3. So, like, I mean, in terms of like the talent and how it's evaluated, like there's a real bet, there's a real statement to be made that the Dodgers are still the runaway favorite. I just haven't seen it in how they've played. To kind of give credence to your point on San Diego, the two games that they won against the Dodgers this weekend were very much like eke out a few runs and get out of jams when the Dodgers had runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
They both felt like games where like the dam was going to break the other way in the Dodgers direction. And the game that the Dodgers won on Sunday was just, we hit 5 homers. You can't do that.
Right.
And so and there was an element to that in the games in LA when the Dodgers swept them last weekend. It was just like, okay, well, if we score 6 runs, you can't do anything. And so like, that's a real thing. I'm just concerned about the postseason and their pitching staff. It scares me as a Dodger fan. So
I feel like Padres fans should love you. I really do. Like, you do poop on them a lot. You do.
Oh, they're fans?
Yeah, they're fans a lot. But you talk about them. You talk about the Padres like very. This is 2 years now in a row where you've talked very positively about the Padres.
Well, and look, if you listen to what Dodger players had to say after the World Series last year, they all said beating the Padres was the biggest step on the way there. Like, they all said the Padres were the second best team in baseball. And I think that was true last year. I think the Padres are right there again this year. Like, I think the Padres have a little bit of the opposite thing to them that the Yankees do. In some ways, they're like the inverse. Like the Padres, when they get into a big series against a team that should be better than them,
they play up.
Where the Padres have trouble is like they'll just randomly drop 2 out of 3 to the Nationals. Like, or like, 2 years ago, I think they had a losing record over the full season against the Rockies. Like they go through these stretches where like, it's just like, why can't the Padres beat the Giants? So
yeah,
like that's part of why I believe in them in the postseason, because that's kind of who they are.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they had the Dodgers on the ropes last year, Mike. They really did.
Yeah, they did. Okay, I have 2 questions then. Let's tackle the first one. So does this mean after we've made our lists, right? So you have the Astros or the Mariners, right, as the best in the American League, right? Or the top contender in the American League. You now have the Padres as the top contender in the National League. Does this mean that you think the Padres are the best team in baseball right now?
Right this second, in terms of like, if you're gonna tell me what team am I taking in a series against anybody in baseball right now, probably yes. Now, I think the margin is razor thin between them and the Dodgers, and I view it very similarly to the way I view this Houston-Seattle thing. The team that wins that division, to me, is the number 1 contender to win the World Series.
Yeah.
The team that doesn't win that division has a much steeper hill to climb and therefore becomes, in my opinion, probably number 2. So, I mean, it's razor thin. Don't get me wrong. I'm not coming on here and being like, hey, the Padres are better than the Dodgers, period, end of sentence. But I think based on what we've seen over the last 2 months and kind of the aura that the teams are carrying, I'm more of a believer in what the Padres are selling right this second. Now, the Dodgers have the talent and they have 5 weeks left. If they turn it off, like 2 weeks from now, I might be saying, hey, we're fixed. It's all good. That could happen. But right this second, I think the Padres have the most playoff prepared team in baseball.
Yeah. So here's my second question then. Are we being disrespectful to the Brewers? Like, should
Yes.
we be giving the Brewers more credit than we're giving them?
Yes. Point blank. I think we're absolutely being disrespectful to the Brewers. I think, like, I mean,
Just, yes, we are.
yeah. I mean, look, like here, the reality with the Brewers, man, when you look at what they've actually done over the last several months, I mean, it's insane. Like, they've been the best team in baseball for a while.
It's
And
remarkable how good they've been.
yeah, and they beat the hell out of the Dodgers. I mean, they beat us 6 out of 6. Like,
Yeah. Well, listen, they just I will say they are 4-6 in their last 10.
Yeah.
So they're starting to cool off, I think.
Sure. I mean, the Yankees are 6-4 in their last 10, and we heard the way you talk about that.
I know.
Look, I'll give the Brewers this. I think we're probably not giving them enough credit on offense. Like, they're 8th in baseball with a WRC plus of 107. That puts them ahead of Philadelphia. Like, this offense for the season has been better than Philadelphia, better than San Diego, better than Houston, better than Boston.
But that's amazing, though, because, like, if you look at their roster, Christian Yelich is the only guy on their roster with an OPS over 800.
Yeah. Well, but Mike, let me give you the reason why I don't buy it, though. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're familiar with the stat batting average on balls in play, BABIP, and what it means, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. If you have and I'm just, this is for the audience, not for you, right? If a team has an exceptionally high BABIP, what that means, generally speaking, is you've been very lucky on balls in play. I'm just going to read you BABIP of the top 10 teams in baseball, and you tell me which one of these sticks out, okay? 286, 291, 298, 282, 285, 282, 285, 303, 297.
Wow. Oh, they're hitting over 300 on balls in play.
They are batting 303 this season on balls in play. So, like, that could be just a really lucky team. I think that's worth noting, right? Especially because in the postseason, the pitching you're going to be facing is going to all be a tick at a higher level. And so producing that same BABIP in the postseason gets tougher.
Yeah. Wow. All right. Well, that's something. That's something. I can't even believe that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
That is nuts. Oh boy. Okay. All right. So that's what I had for that. But all right, let me give you one more score update and then we'll head into the hot corner. Yankees right now with a 7-0 lead over the Nationals. See, this is what I told you. They are the Dallas fucking Cowboys. They are. Big brand, big personalities, all that stuff. Don't pay Micah Parsons, but we'll beat up on the Arizona Cardinals every once in a while.
I mean, Mike, that's probably going to be enough, though. Like, they have the 4th easiest schedule in baseball and the easiest in the AL by a mile left.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's too bad that they're going to be the worst playoff team in the AL. It really is going to be a shame. But but they're beating up on the Nationals right now, 7-0 in the Bronx, top of the 7th. Red Sox still with a 4-3 lead in Baltimore over the Orioles. They're in the bottom of the 9th. That one's getting close down to it. Rays with a 6-0 lead over the Guardians in Cleveland. That's in the top of the 7th. The Blue Jays, it was, I believe, 6-1. It is now 6-4 Blue Jays over the Twins in 8-4. Excuse me. That updated real quick. 8-4 Blue Jays in the bottom of the 6th. Never mind. Phillies right now. The Mets tied it up, man. The Mets and Phillies right now are tied at 3. They're in the bottom of the 5th. That's in Queens. White Sox 6-0 lead over the Royals right now in Chicago. They're heading into the bottom of the 6th. The Brewers with a 6-0 lead over the Diamondbacks. That's in Milwaukee. Again, there's that stretch for Arizona as they lead right into Dodger Stadium after getting walloped by the Brewers and their outrageously high BABIP. That's heading into the 5th. Pirates with a 4-1 lead over the Cardinals in St. Louis. That's in the top of the 5th. The Angels have a 2-0 lead over the Rangers in the bottom of the 4th. And then the Braves Marlins game earlier, the Marlins with a 2-1 lead, 2-1 win over the Braves in Miami. Again, later tonight, it is the Padres and Mariners. That is JP Sears and Bryce Miller. Tigers and A's, Tarek Skubal and JT Ginn. That's in Sacramento. And then at Dodger Stadium tonight, it's the Reds and the Dodgers. It's Hunter Green and Emmett Sheehan on the bump for that one. Okay. Dalton, what do you have for Hot Corner tonight before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'll keep it real short, sweet, and simple. We're going real square tonight, but it's just a bet that I just can't see not winning. Tigers minus a run and a half at Oakland / at whatever the hell they are, Sacramento tonight. You can get that as low as minus 130. I think that's pretty comfortable to lay there. I don't have to tell you why Tarek Skubal is worth backing. I don't have to get into that too much, but let me tell you a little bit about JT Ginn. 7.88 ERA over 4 starts in August. This man has not recorded an out in the 6th inning all year either. Why does that matter? The A's bullpen is the 4th worst in baseball. So it's a hot environment in Sacramento. It's a great hitting environment. I think Detroit's bats get going early against JT Ginn, keep it going throughout the night against the Oakland bullpen. Wouldn't be surprised at all if Detroit ends up with 8 to 10 runs in this game. Tarek Skubal is not going to put the A's in a position to score 6 or 7. So I think Detroit minus 1.5 is pretty comfortable. Now that I say that, Tarek Skubal will get lit up in the first inning. But hey, we've been running hot on these. Last week we gave you Cleveland. They won. This week we're giving you Detroit minus 1.5 on the road in Sacramento.
Have you been keeping track? I haven't, but have you?
I haven't, but I could go back and look through them and figure something out. But it's been hot, man. It feels like it's been winning every week.
All right. Well, good. Well, listen, next week you're gonna have a week off. I'm going to Disney World, so we're gonna have a week off next week.
Perfect. Well, next Monday is my birthday. I was already gonna be off, so.
Well, wait. So your birthday is September 1st?
Yep, on the 1st.
Mine's September 2nd.
Well, I'll be damned. Happy birthday to you too.
It's hilarious. Okay, all this time we've known each other. We haven't known that we.
Yeah, I mean, it means that we both have the blessing of our birthday falling on a weekend day 3 out of every 7 years, as opposed to 2, because we both get the Labor Day bump with Mondays.
We do definitely get the Labor Day bump. The only shitty part about that is that like sometimes it would be like right on the first day of school or something like that. That was the worst part about my birthday every year. Was I spent my birthday going to buy notebooks at Staples. Like
I can relate to that painfully. Yes.
All righty. All right. That does it for us. That's Dalton Brown. I'm Mike Guido. This is the Bicoastal Baseball Podcast. We will not be here next week, but we will be here the week after that, presumably. Right. But every Monday, 8:00 Eastern, make sure you tune in for it. Make sure you tune into all of our programming here on the Grid Network. It's great to have you with us. We will see you in 2 weeks. Yeah, let's call it 2 weeks. We'll see you.